Hi, welcome to Mind, Muscle, and Style, the channel that deals with men's lifestyle in general, ranging from mental health, how to take care of yourself, how to stay positive, nutrition, workouts, mental health. And also, when we do it, we're going to do it with style. You may be wondering what we're going to discuss today. You got it. Shoes. A lot of times we don't think about the shoes that we wear as being the cornerstone or the foundation of our outfit. Your shoes say a lot about you. If you have a nice suit on, or you're dressed casual, and then you have on a raggedy pair of shoes, it's going to say a lot about you. Things such as you don't really pay much attention to detail, or you don't care about your health. Yeah, shoes are an investment. I look at shoes as an investment because shoes directly affect my way of life. For example, let's say you wearing a cheap pair of shoes. You start to get calluses on your toes, calluses on your heels. That's going to affect your way of life. However, let's say I got a cheap shirt on. Once I change that shirt, it really doesn't really affect me. I just change the shirt. But that's not the case when it comes to shoes. I can't run around because my toes hurt or the back of my heel hurts when I change my shoe to another shoe. It just affects my quality of life. So shoes are an investment in your well-being. Now, when you go to look for a shoe, what are some of the things that you look for when you pick a shoe? Well, a lot of people say, well, I look at the price. Some people say, well, I look at the construction, or I look at, where I'm getting it. All those things, they're valid points. But you shouldn't always use price point as a gauge. It's true, we get what we pay for, but that's not always the case. For example, some of these name brands that you may pick out, and I won't say any names, but these larger names that you hear of, you may be paying for that name. And so when you look in the description of that shoe, if you know what to look for, you'll be able to spot it. So price point shouldn't always be the sole indicator of a good shoe. Well, you look at the price. Today, you're going to learn about construction of a shoe. That way, you don't get got. And thirdly, we're going to look at, the sole of the shoe. What should you look at? So first, let's deal with the price point. No, let's look at the construction, and that will directly affect the price. You'll see why I switched it. One, the type of construction, and it's not limited to these three. First, you have your Goodyear welted shoe. Goodyear welted shoe. Then you have your Blake stitch shoe. And then the shoe that you want to run away as if it is the plague is the glue shoe. Steer clear of that shoe, because that's the shoe that's going to take your money, going to keep taking. Remember on 300 it says, give them nothing, but take from them everything. And that's what a glue shoe does. It gives you nothing, but it takes your money. So you want a Goodyear welted shoe or a Blake stitch shoe, but you want to steer clear of the glue shoe or cemented shoe. Now, the good thing about a Goodyear welted shoe is that you can keep getting it resold. So when you're walking, if you have to wear this shoe daily and you have to walk on that shoe, it's going to wear out. So you take it to your cobbler, they take it off and they can put another sole on it. And it's versatile too. I'll get to that. Next, you have your Blake stitch shoe. These shoes, a lot of Italian shoes are Blake stitch. And when they are, they'll let you know. But The Blake Stitch shoe, that's a good shoe too. They're sleeker, in design, a little easier to break in. But you got your Blake Stitch, and then you have your glue one. So that's what you want first. Goodyear welted shoe. And then your Blake Stitch, either one of those can be resold. Next, you want to look at your leather. So what's the best leather that you can get? The best leather you can get is full grain leather. That's the premium leather, and those will typically be on your higher end shoes. And there's a price to pay for that too, because nothing is free. And then second, you want if you can't afford that shoe, you got top grain. That's the second tier of leather that you get with a shoe. And then you see some shoes, they'll say genuine leather. It's leather, but it's the lowest grade of shoe. You'll see a lot of times with that genuine leather, they'll be real soft. They can even crack, but you look on the inside of the shoe, genuine leather, it's leather, but it's not your highest grade. It's the third tier. And then lastly, you'll have your pleather or PU. That's the one on your lowest grade shoes, those cemented shoes. It's really a plastic. And because of that, it's not gonna breathe like your other leather shoes, like your top grain, full grain, and even your genuine leather. It's not very breathable. So, don't even bother putting shoe trees in those things, and you just want to steer clear of those. Now, we mentioned the price, why it shouldn't always be an indicator, because, you can have a shoe that's Goodyear welted, but then they got, low grade or genuine leather uppers. So, yeah, you can resole it, but because it's genuine leather, the lowest grade, yeah, you can keep getting it resold, but the leather's just not gonna last a long time. And remember we said don't use price as always an indicator, because it costs more to make a Goodyear welted shoe. So you're just not gonna get that in an $80, $60, $70, $80, $90, $100 shoe. It's just not, they're not able to do that. And if they do, then you're gonna sacrifice something. For example, I have a pair of Stacy Adams, a pair of Balmoral Stacy Adams. It's Goodyear welted, but the difference in the leather is vastly different than my higher grain leathers. I can see the difference. It doesn't take as well to polishing, but your full top grain leathers will absorb, your polish and your what's the word I'm looking for? Your conditioners. That's it. Thank you. That's it. Got a little tongue tied there for a minute. But yeah. Now the next thing you want to look at is the sole. Your high-end shoes are going to have a leather sole. And with that, you can, like I said, if it's Goodyear welted, you can get those, you can get them resold. Then others will have a rubber sole. Some you'll see it say Vibram, V-I-B-R-A-M, Vibram sole. It's a rubber sole. Those are for more, when you need more grip. If you look at some James Bond movies, you'll see he'll have shoes that has rubber soles. It's not a cheap shoe. It's just that because of what he does, he's very active. A leather sole just wouldn't last as long, and he needs more grip. He may be running in those shoes. And so if you have that type of a job where you're in conditions where it could be wet, you could be slippery, you need more grip, then that rubber sole on a dress shoe will work for you. And then you have your lower end shoe. What they call that stuff is, you can look at the bottom of the shoe, it's man-made. It may look like it's leather, but if you look at the side on the inside of the shoe, it'll say man-made upper and sole. Stay away from that shoe. It actually costs you more money to own that shoe. Let me give you an example. You buy a shoe for $100. It's cemented, not top grain leather. You wear that shoe. Let's say it starts cracking. You can't get it resold, or the sole wears out. You can't get it resold because it's glued. So you go back, the shoe done wore out. You go back, you say you got a year out of it because you wore it daily. You got a year out, you go get it again. You spent another $100. Then it wears out. If the shoe is discontinued, let's say they still even have it in stock. You go buy it again. How much did that $100 shoe cost you? Let's say you buy it 5 times. That $100 shoe has just cost you $500. Now, let's say I bought a shoe that was Goodyear welted, such as like this Balmoral. This is a Goodyear welted shoe. And I waited like to the end of the year I got these shoes. And they cost me $350 when I got them on sale. They're Goodyear welted, and I can keep resoling it. It's a good quality leather, and I can keep getting them resold. I take care of the upper, so it lasts me. So that cheap shoe actually cost you more money in the end. I bought that. One time I'll give you a quick example. One time I was out on a date. I'm thinking I'm looking good and everything. So I come out of the restaurant, holding her hand, gazing into her eyes, and we both hear this click, click, click. I'm like, click, what is that? I look down, and these shoes, okay, they weren't like these, but these aren't an expensive pair of shoes. They're glued, I'm gonna be honest with you, they're glued, and they're retro. So I kind of keep them because I'm into vintage clothing too, so it fits that look. And I know I'm not gonna get a lifetime out of these, but they look. And I'm not wearing them all the time either, so hey, it is what it is. So I recognize what I got. But that clicking noise, the heel, because it had dry rotted, or the cement had, dry rotted. And so this part of the heel had come apart from the upper, and then I discovered, which I thought was a good shoe, it actually had started to deteriorate and separate. And then when I started researching, then I found out how to detect a good shoe. So now I know that I want Goodyear welted or Blake stitch. Now, so that shoe cost me more money as opposed to buy once and cry once. Now, with that being said, so first we got the Goodyear welted, we got Blake stitch, and we want to stay away from that glue shoe. Now, a lot of the makers that have the Goodyear or Blake stitch, when you look up that shoe, they tell you that it's Goodyear welted or Blake stitch, because that's a selling point. Unless you know that manufacturer has some pride in their shoe, and that they want to keep you coming back, but not because of low quality. So if it's Goodyear welted or Blake stitch, they're normally going to tell you. And if you're looking for a shoe, a lot of times it's online now, but type in Goodyear welted shoe, and then you have a plethora of options, or Blake stitch. So, get yourself a good shoe and save money. Now, I recognize that, not everybody has, $250 and up to spend on a shoe. And if you got an interview and you got to get a pair of shoes, look, you got to do what you got to do, because we got to work. But there are some alternatives that you can do with your money. Let's say you got $100. Instead of taking that money and spending on that cheap shoe, if you know in advance, you could do something like look online. You got Poshmark, you have eBay, you got thrift stores. You can find some good shoes at the thrift store. You can find some good shoes that someone may have had a pair of Goodyear welted shoe or Blake stitch shoe, and they don't need it anymore. They wanted a write-off, so instead of throwing it away, they gave it to the thrift store. You go there, you may pick up that shoe, for $30, and it was a $250, $300 shoe. You may pick it up for $30. And then a shoe like that, you can pass it down. You can keep it for a while because you can get it resold. So think of those avenues where you working hard for your money, so why not make it, go further for you? But there are options as opposed to spending for that cheap shoe. So as we talked about the construction, the 3 different types of construction, we talked about the leather. You got your top grain, you got full grain. The genuine leather is the lowest grade, and you got your $70 leather shoes that you want to stay away from. So now that you know these things, now you can make an informed decision when you go to buy shoes. Now, if you notice, I've got a lot of shoes and I've learned a lot about them. I do have some, I have Goodyear welted, I have Blake Stitch. Some of these shoes, I ain't gonna lie to you, some of them they're cemented. I recognize them for what they are. They don't get worn that often. And I also have some, when I was looking at the internet or YouTube, I discovered that when I was looking at shoe reviews, a lot of them talk about the same designers. You got your Edmund Allen or Allen Edmonds. You have your Beckett Simonon. I have those shoes too, and I like them. I do. But there are other makers out there that I really like too. For example, like Maud O'Keeffe. You can't even get those shoes anymore. Maud O'Keeffe. Oh, I love her shoes. Oh, I wish she was back in. Her shoes, they're made in Italy. They're Goodyear welted, handmade. The leather, man, when I got them, I could smell the leather through the box. They came with instructions of how to care for them. They came in the shoe bags. They even suggested what polish to use for them. Just an excellent, this is a Balmoral too. Just an excellent shoe. So, her line, when she was running her line, you buy it. If it's gone, it's gone. And I forgot how I even came across that shoe, but this shoe, I liked it so much, I got 3 of them. And I'm glad I did, because now you can't even go online and buy her shoes anymore. Because just look up Maud O'Keeffe. Man, she got some. But if you go on Poshmark, eBay, you ain't gonna find this in the thrift store. I tell you that right now. But you may be able to. You can probably run across them. If they're in your size, I'm telling you, they're a good shoe. So that's just an example of some of the other makers out there that I'm going to expose you to, as opposed to the names that you always hear. That's what I'm bringing to you, your individuality, how you can be different. Some of these shoes you can get, and also how you can combine them with different outfits to capture the perfect look for you. So I'm glad you guys stuck with me this long. I hope to see you again. And once again, I want to welcome you to Mind, Muscle, and when we do it with style. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.